We all know, of course, that Australians love their music, but you might be surprised to find out that we've just been named the world's worst when it comes to illegal downloads for music. So let's find out just how true this is and also how it affects the industry with Scott Tweedy from Eleven's music show The Loop. Scott, thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Hey, this is quite extraordinary. 19 million odd, this survey has found, 19 million odd downloads in just a year. That paints us as a nation of criminals. Is it happening that much out there, do you think, anecdotally?
We are the convicts, come on, let's be honest here. But I knew we were bad, but I didn't think we were that bad. But it kind of makes sense, you know, along with that figure though, we are actually downloading legally more and more music as well. So, you know, while we're looking bad, there is a good and a bad to this story. And also the artists out there, you know, they're getting something out of being exposed and shared a lot more. You know, the sales are down, but they're touring a lot more and they're, you know, performing and they're getting money and more revenue from that aspect.
Well, that is true. ARIA actually said that digital sales were still rising up 35% as you mentioned in the last year. So it's I suppose you're getting a balance effect there, aren't you?
Exactly, and like, they can't be too upset with, okay, they are losing that segment right there, but you know, the scope, like Ed Sheeran from the UK, right, he's just gone gangbusters in the last year, and that's from people sharing his music, maybe not legally as such, but you know, his concert prices were £18, he said, but then his CD prices were £8. So he's like, well, if I'm missing out there, he goes, I'm making up for it in other areas as well.
So who's losing most out of this equation? Is it the record companies, or, you know, considering the artists get exposure?
I think the record companies are a little bit bitter. They don't want us all to know that, you know, they're losing out on this, you know, situation. But also I think the smaller artists who do need that, you know, $5, $10 from their EP, they need that money. And it's a bit of a shame when it is their art and they're sort of being cheated by the system. And it would be great that if people were honest, but let's be honest, a lot of us aren't being honest.
Now, we don't want to promote and let people know how to do it, but I'm going to plead ignorance again. I've got no idea how you do it. Is it easy to do, to download music?
That was convincing, Brad. Yeah, very convincing.
You should play poker.
I don't know a lot about this kind of stuff.
No, look, it is quite easy if you know what you're doing. It's not as easy as the Napster days, but it's become a lot more easier now. But they say that still, if you're a working class sort of person and you've got money and time is of the essence, you're still going to go to iTunes. It's a lot easier to click it and get the album there. You have to hunt and have time on your hands to find the good download. Yeah. Instead of just, you know, going along and getting the iTunes.
There's some pretty big penalties though, like people do it with, you know, these penalties at stake.
Massive penalties. In America you hear about it, but in Australia, like, have you ever heard of anyone getting in trouble?
No. It's a very difficult one to police, isn't it? I'll tell you who's not losing out of this, I suppose, is iTunes. I don't know about you guys, I spend $20 or $30 a week on iTunes just because it's so easy. But who are the main people that the Australians are downloading? I heard the Hilltop Hoods were pretty in demand.
The Hoods are the king of the illegal downloads. So I don't know how they feel, but you know, in an article when they were interviewed, they just said, it is what it is, we've got to move on, this is how it's working these days, and music artists now have to have new strategies to get bigger and promote more.
Well, there's no doubt, I suppose, that at least music is hugely popular in Australia across the board, whether it's being downloaded legally or not. There's no doubt about that, which is, I suppose, good for the industry. So, Scott, thanks for joining us with that.